Signs Satan is attacking your life. The Bible states that Satan roams around seeking whom he may devour. One of Satan's primary objectives is to attack people. It's important to understand that being targeted by Satan does not indicate that you are a terrible Christian or that you have done something wrong. It also does not mean that God does not love you. Take the example of Job, a man described as blameless, yet Satan relentlessly attacked him. Satan targets everyone. There are two distinct categories of individuals who Satan attacks: unbelievers and believers. It is relatively easy for the devil to target unbelievers, and he does not invest much time in them. However, his primary adversaries are Christians. Satan will employ any available means to attack believers. He will utilize various methods to undermine and challenge them. Remember, as a Christian, you have the power and protection of God on your side. Despite Satan's attacks, you can rely on God's strength and guidance to overcome. That is why Paul says in 2 Corinthians 2:11, King James Version, "Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." It is for your own benefit to not be ignorant of Satan's devices. You must be aware when he is attacking, so that you can stand your ground and fight in the name of Jesus. If you are unaware of his tactics, you will become easy prey, just like unbelievers. Understanding his strategies is essential for your well-being and ability to resist his attacks. Ephesians 6:13, King James Version, "Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand." What are the signs you see in your life when Satan is attacking you? Fear and anxiety. Fear is a tactic employed by Satan. There is a significant distinction between the natural fear we possess and the fear that Satan instills. The fear that triggers the fight or flight response is a normal and instinctive reaction. However, the fear that Satan brings torments and paralyzes individuals, consuming their lives and causing destruction. Fear has hindered many people from making progress in their lives. It possesses a unique ability to keep individuals stuck in one place. Fear can distort rational thinking and drive individuals to engage in actions they should avoid. It is fear and worry that have led some Christians to seek alternative paths and driven people to join occult groups, believing they could offer assistance. The Bible assures us that God has not given us a spirit of fear. In 2 Timothy 1:7, it states, "For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love, and of a sound mind." Fear does not originate from the Lord, and it is essential to recognize this whenever we find ourselves gripped by an unnatural fear. Jesus taught us not to worry about anything. Excessive worry prevents us from seeking what we should prioritize, which is the kingdom of God. Jesus encourages us to observe the birds of the sky. They do not sow or reap, yet God provides for them. We, as humans, are more valuable than these birds. So why allow fear to harm us? Why let fear rob us of sleep? When faced with concerns like high inflation or rising expenses, trust in God. Even when you can't see a way out of a situation, trust in God, for He is the one who makes a way. Matthew 6:26 and 27. "Look at the birds in the air, for they neither sow nor reap nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not of more value than they? Which of you by worrying can add 1 cubit to his stature? Do not be afraid of tomorrow. The same God who holds the future is also watching over you. Fear and worry do not originate from God." Combat the devil's attacks on your life by fixing your focus on Jesus Christ. Jesus himself said that worrying would not bring any positive benefit to your life. Fear and worry do not contribute to your well-being, but instead take away from it. As mentioned in Matthew 6:27, "Which of you by taking thought can add 1 cubit unto his stature. Stand firm against the devil, and he will flee from you. Refuse to allow these things to bring depression into your life or hinder your growth. Overcome them through the power of God. 2. A second sign is temptations. What is Satan if he doesn't attack with temptation? Satan is in the business of temptation. Temptation is a strategy employed by Satan. It is true that our fleshly nature is inclined to sin, which is why we are urged to put off the old self and put on the new self. However, it is important to recognize that Satan specializes in temptation. One key aspect to remember about Satan's temptations is that he targets areas where you are prone to desire or long for certain things. If you struggle with fornication, Satan will present countless opportunities for you to engage in it. If you struggle with pride, he will present endless opportunities for you to exalt yourself. If you struggle with gluttony, he will present numerous opportunities for you to indulge. Satan is a tempter. As long as you are a human living on this earth, you will face temptations. Jesus himself experienced temptation. In fact, the devil waited until Jesus had finished fasting for 40 days and nights. This highlights 2 important points. Firstly, it reveals the character of the devil. He is remarkably audacious. One might think that after an individual has fasted for such an extended period, the devil would want nothing to do with that person. However, that is not the case. The devil is daring and ambitious. Secondly, it demonstrates that being tempted does not imply that something is inherently wrong with you or that you have sinned. Jesus was tempted, but triumphed over temptation. There is a significant distinction between temptation and sin. Satan will continue to tempt you, regardless of how much you pray. No matter how often you fast, you will face temptation. The fact that Satan tempts you does not mean you are spiritually dead or a superficial Christian, regardless of your level of faith. When Satan tempts you, it indicates that you are on the right path. Satan will not sit idly by as you pursue the path of life. Your temptations are amplified when you accept Jesus Christ into your life and are intensified as you grow in the Spirit. Satan will relentlessly attack you in various ways. Jesus was tempted, yet without sin. Hebrews 4:15, King James Version. For we have not an high priest, which cannot be touched with the feeling of our infirmities, but was in all points tempted like as we are, yet without sin. If Jesus could overcome temptations, you can do it also. The devil will not tempt you with the things you hate. He will tempt you with the things you love. If you are a man who just left alcohol, he will tempt you with it. When you are just leaving drugs, he will tempt you with it. You must be ready for these attacks. They are non-stop. We Christians should know that we must always pray in the Spirit. We must not base our lives on the physical. The devil operates most of the time in the spiritual realm. We are not wrestling human beings, and we are not fighting objects. We are fighting powers in dark places. Ephesians 6:12 and 13. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. The final sign is feeling of guilt and condemnation. The Bible refers to the devil as an accuser. Whenever a Christian makes a mistake, Satan is always in the presence of God, making accusations. Revelation 12:10 states, And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, Now is come salvation, and strength, and the kingdom of our God, and the power of his Christ. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. Consequently, he persistently accuses you in the presence of God. He tells God that you do not deserve forgiveness and urges him to punish you severely. When Satan realizes that God is not listening to him and that Jesus is always interceding for you, he will come and bring feelings of condemnation upon you. He will attempt to guilt trip you. Satan will lie to you, saying that God has not forgiven you. He will tell you that God has forsaken you and will constantly remind you of your past sins. He will whisper to you that there is no help for you from God. Psalm 3:2 describes the words of those who doubt God's help, and the devil will use similar words against you. He will say that there is no help for you in God, and that there is no way God will forgive you. When Satan presents all these accusations to you, you may begin to feel condemned. You might start believing that God has not forgiven your past mistakes. When challenges arise during this period, you may think that it is because God has not forgiven you. When these feelings arise, recognize that it is a tactic Satan uses to distract Christians and lead them away from the presence of God. He employs this method to divert people's focus from God. When you experience these feelings, you must counter them with the Word of God. The Lord is your rock, your shield. Tell the devil that God has forgiven you because He is faithful to His promise of forgiving our sins. Counter the devil with the Word of God, just as Jesus did in the wilderness. Do not allow these thoughts to linger and grow. They will drive you out of God's protection. Psalm 18:2, King James Version, affirms, "The Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, my God, my strength, in whom I will trust, my buckler and the horn of my salvation and my high tower." In 1 John 1:8 and 9, it is stated, "If we say that we have no sin, we deceive ourselves, and the truth is not in us. If we confess our sins, He is faithful and just to forgive us our sins, and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness."